What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDoWorkHereLady. This story's called, originally in Entitled Parents, but I was told to post it here. Woman tries to let son in dangerous warehouse. Nobody like this, it has 69 likes! Here's the cast. Entitled Mother, Bratty Kid, Dad, Owner, Boss Dad. Me, have a guess, 11 at the time, Employee, voice based on gender. Well then, my dad owns this carpet shop in our town. Pretty popular, humble flex, and I sometimes work there. I've had a few examples of Karens, but none like this. Entitled Mother walks in, flanked by Bratty Kid. Excuse me, she says, looking at me. Yes, ma'am, how can I help you? Why are you wearing that? She says, pointing at my uniform. It's my uniform? No, why are you wearing it? She says angrily. Sorry, I have to wear it because I work here. No, you don't. Yes, I do. It's policy. No, you don't work here. I'd figured out she was just trying to cause trouble and didn't want to fan the flames. Would you like to speak to one of the employees then? Yes, go get them now. Okay. I walked towards the desk and opened the desk flap. Hey, you can't do that! I'm shocked at her screaming. Sorry, what? You can't go back there! Just bored of her. Ma'am, I am an employee. Would you like me to get someone or not? Fine. I walk back into the office and see that today is what my dad called a trial day when he brought in lots of people who are trying to be employees, have kind of like a practice day, so I try to find someone who's been here for a while. Hey, employee, there's a lady outside who needs some help. Oh, let a new guy help her. She seems to be one of those people who are trying to start drama. Oh, one of them. All right, tell her I'll be 10 seconds. I walk out of the office. You'll be here in 10 seconds, I say. I grab a Hoover, a vacuum to you Americans, and start hoovering. I see Bratty Kid crawling in the hoovering? What? Okay, sorry. I see Bratty Kid crawling in the carpet racks, which isn't anything new. It happens all the time. Excuse me, mate. Can you not do that? Why not? Because they might rip or get dirty and you might hurt yourself. Fine. I carry on, and not 5 seconds go by until guess who shows up? Excuse me? Yes, ma'am. Were you being mean to my son? No, ma'am. I just told him not to climb in the carpet rack. And what gives you the right to do that? I work here? For the last time. No, you don't. I do. You can go ask employee if you want, I say, pointing at employee who had just shown up looking for the woman. I won't because I know you don't work here. So if Burger King Bratty Kid can't climb in the carpets, what can he do? I don't know, ma'am. Let him play on your phone. I left it in the car. Okay, well. Mommy, I want to go in there. It says, he says, it's as it points at the door to the warehouse. Okay, you can do that. Sorry, that's employees only. Hello, ma'am. How can I help you? He said after all this, he wanted to get Entitled Mother away from me because he knows I have issues socializing, aka I'm an introvert. Entitled Mother walks away and talking business, I hope. At this point, my dad has called me and told me to help him in the warehouse. About 3 minutes go by and who comes waddling in but good old Bratty Kid. I was the only one there who wasn't totally busy, so I walk over to him. Sorry, mate, you're not allowed in here. Why? Because it's employees only. Why? Because it's not safe. It was, as long as you stay away from the forklifts. But you're in here. Because I've been trained. I hadn't. He leaves. 50 seconds later, I see Entitled Mother charging at me, flames in her eyes. What did you say to my son, you twat? Terrified because I cannot deal with stress well. What? And these are her words, not mine. Oh, you frickin' intellectually disabled? I said, what did you say to my son? Not knowing what was going on and on the edge of tears. Nothing, ma'am. I just told him he can't be in here. Excuse me, ma'am. What's going on here? Your child is being racist. just like me. Both of them are white.
How exactly is that being racist?
He won't let my son in there.
So because my son won't let you in an employees-only room, he's racist?
Entitled mother smugly looking at me.
Yes.
Ma'am, I would like you to leave.
So it runs in the family. Your son was being racist to my son, and you're being racist to me.
No, you are causing a scene and are lying.
What? Let me speak to your manager.
Dad gives me a look that pretty much says, I've always wanted to do this. Spins around and says,
Hello, I am the manager. Please leave.
Entitled mother just looks shocked and walks away, mumbling something about racist pigs and people these days, and that was the last we saw of her.
Nobody likes this, it has 69 likes.
Also, thanks for the word. Shamelessly racist OP. When will you learn? Alright, this story's called I Want to See the Manager. I am the manager. This is my dad's story, not mine, though I viewed the whole thing. So my dad works in a company which makes machines for eye surgeries and selling them to huge eye hospitals. Huge eye. I don't know why that's funny to me. Is there a name for them? I don't know. Maybe an ophthalmologist? My dad is the district manager for the company, and that meant he is the boss main manager of the district. The owner doesn't live in our country. Now on to the story. About 6 to 7 months back, before Brovid, I tagged along with my dad to his office because I was bored in the house and didn't want to stay home alone, as I once nearly burned down the house. Story for another time. I was wearing formal clothing, I don't know why, and my dad was in a tee and jeans. I helped my dad and his colleagues to transport the machinery into the storage. Now, the words are not exactly the same, but I am using my memory. My dad said, "Colleague and I are going upstairs to meet some clients and interview a few more people. You help, Jonah, which is colleague's son, and my other colleague set up the machinery." He and colleague went upstairs. Jonah and I do nothing but mess around, not disturbing the machinery, but just running around with the boxes. We went to the same school. A few good hours passed by, and a car drove into the storage. Note, employee parking is in the storage. A lady with a classic Karen haircut and her embarrassed teen walked out of the car. Everyone stopped their work and looked at her. Karen, this is employee-only parking. You should go to the client parking, which is just on the floor above this.
I told you, Mom. Now let's go.
She huffed and turned around, and her embarrassed teen mouthed, "Sorry." Now we continue to just do what we do when we are bored. Go on social media. The lady does drive into the client parking, but the security later told me that she parked like someone from those action movies, nearly causing a crash with one other car. She immediately rushed to my dad and colleague. Her embarrassed teen uncomfortably sat on one of the chairs in front of the room where the interview was happening. Karen sat in front of dad and colleague for her interview. They asked her the usual interview questions. My dad didn't allow me to put them here. Midway through it, Jonah and I sit in front of the room with the embarrassed teen, as it would be lunch break in 20 minutes. "So are you Karen?"
Yes.
Have you worked somewhere before?
No.
Ma'am, you know that this is one of the largest eye machinery companies, right? It clearly says on the website that you need to have 7+ years of experience to work here.
Why are you talking to me like that? You don't even look professional enough to work here. Stop lying to me. I know that colleague is the only one here who works.
My dad is a big guy with long hair and a beard. He could look quite homeless when he doesn't brush his hair or wear anything proper. Colleagues started to laugh, and I start to listen into the conversation.
I know why you don't want me here. You want to hire those two little turds down in storage.
My dad is very protective of me and Jonah. He said a little loudly, "I can make sure that me, and Jonah are not here to interview." She decided to change her tactics because she knew she couldn't use us as an excuse.
You two are racist and sexist and don't want a woman on the crew. You can't claim yourself as a feminist. Oh, you don't even know what a feminist is.
We are feminists, and we can confirm that we are the only two male members members of our team.
What?
Smug look.
Where are those female members then? And you should stop employing homeless people. Take someone more professional.
Fortunately, Jonah heard the conversation as well and went to bring in his older sister. His whole family works there. We explain the situation to her and she agrees to the plan. The embarrassed teen turned super red and wanted to merge with the seats.
Okay, lady, you want a female employee? I'll get you one right now.
He opened the door to ask us to get someone, but saw Sis, his sister, so pulled her inside by her arm.
You are assaulting her?
Listen, lady, this is my father. That there is the manager of this district, and you belong nowhere except for out of this office building.
You can't do that. He
Points to Dad.
clearly isn't the manager.
Get out. We are not hiring you.
I want to speak to the manager.
My dad took out his ID and showed it to this crazy lady. Her jaw dropped. Was she done?
No, if you don't hire me, you should hire Embarrassed Teen. He is an amazing person.
Everyone in the room was done with her by then. To all of our surprise, colleague had called security.
You have to come out, ma'am. You have disturbed the peace of the whole building.
Karen fought them off and yelled,
I want to see the owner of this company. I will have you all fired.
security guard lost his grip on her and she said,
The owner is my brother. I will have you all fired.
You don't look Japanese to me. The owner is Japanese. Karen's jaw dropped. Again, someone had even called the police. We walk in to see all the commotion. Karen smirked and said,
I will call the police on you
to security guard,
for assaulting me.
The police came to the commotion and it was the famous duo of the locality.
What's wrong?
Karen bursted into tears and said that my dad and colleague tried to assault her. We have cameras in this room. Sir, you can check the cameras. My daughter will bring them to us. Karen's face was something I cannot forget for the rest of my life. She turned pale and stuttered.
No need. I want to leave.
One of the other employees brought the tape and we all saw the whole interview. Now, my memory is all blurry, so they arrested her for something and we could have pressed charges, but Dad refused. Later, we leave to go home. We call my mom and tell her all about this and she bursted out laughing. Till today, I still sometimes laugh at this, but my dad gets annoyed. Who walks into an interview and behaves like that? What? That is not how you charm a potential employer, you dingus. Alright, this story's called Super Soaker. I'm a quarter century into a career in retail. Who knows how much longer that will last? And have learned a lot about motivating my own people from working for some exquisitely bad managers. When I share my anecdotes socially, I often get asked what the worst example is. And while the following may not technically be the worst example of modeling behavior, it is by far and away the funniest and still makes me laugh my ass off today, 15 years after the fact. I used to work for a fashion retailer as an assistant shop manager at a super quiet outlet store. So quiet, it's amazing we lasted a couple of weeks, never mind a couple of years. To pass the time, my manager would often play pranks on the team, including myself, and on this particular day, he had brought in a super soaker that belonged to one of his kids. The flippity-doo-dah you bringing that into work for? I asked him.
Because I'm going to get employee X good and proper,
He says, not qualifying what that entails or precisely why he feels compelled to do so. Whatever, man. I go about my business for a while, attempting to find something productive to do that at least gives the impression of earning a living, making occasional conversation with employee X who is wearing one of the new pink ladies hooded tops she liked on her uniform allowance. After a while, I become aware of something at the corner of my vision, and I turn to see manager taking aim with the frick off massive super soaker over a shirt rail at the back of employee's head, which is at best a mere 6 feet from the muzzle. Something else I have noticed gives me a cause to start frantically making a cut it motion with my hand across the neck, but manager is focused only on one thing, presumably pressure cleaning the scalp off the back of employee X's head. He unleashes aquatic hell. I've only ever heard a scream like it a couple of times in my life, presumably a mixture of pain, shock, and understandable terror, despite the fact it's so clearly over the line as to be bordering on physical assault. There is another thing which keeps me from laughing, which is that other key detail I had already noticed and manager had not. Employee X is currently bent over at the far side of the store arranging a pile of denim, not standing 6 feet away from the manager. Employee X stands bolt upright in the shock at the commotion, presumably wondering who just got murdered in our store. In one instant that will forever be frozen in time in my mind, manager sees Employee X 30 feet away, and his face locks in an expression of pure confusion, while the customer, who is in similar hair and build to Employee X and trying on the pink hooded top for fit, turns trembling to see who the flippity-doo-dah is that just tried to explode the back of her skull with a jet washer. I have aphantasia, and it is basically impossible for me to visualize something in my mind's eye from memory, but I will carry manager's face in the 3 seconds immediately thereafter to my deathbed. Confusion, fear, and ultimately an immediate understanding that he, a 35-year-old man, probably just lost his job, and by extension, his ability to keep a roof over his family's head for assaulting a paying customer with a child's toy while he was supposed to be responsible for running a reputable fashion brand store. As he was crying, yes, crying, manager tried to placate the poor woman with offers of free clothing, which, once she had time to compose herself, she politely declined. Despite having been assaulted and humiliated by this man, the lady calmly stated that she would not be shopping with our brand again and left. "I am so sorry this happened to you. I am every bit embarrassed as you are," I told her as she left, but she did not respond. To this day, I am challenged by 2 decisions that were made that day. The first of which ought to be obvious. The second, however, is that the lady never made a complaint, or if she did, it somehow managed to never find its way back to us. Maybe it was too fantastical for someone in head office to take seriously. Maybe the email address had a typo in it. Somehow the planets aligned and I was never called to an investigation as a witness, and manager remains both the luckiest and most freaking stupid person I have ever worked with. Rookie mistake, okay? You're supposed to watch their eyes fill with terror as that stream of water approaches their face rapidly. That is how you super soak someone. Not the coward's way out of shooting them in the back of the head. What is this, loser town? You're 35 for Christ's sake, be a man.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.